digital arena, on the app, on your smartphone, on X, YouTube, and Facebook. The Sportscast. Expect the unexpected.
The Donut Bag presented by The Sportscast.
The Donut Bag, hosted by Joey Bag of Donuts. And here's your host, Joey Bag of Donuts.
Hello. Before we start, I want to address a topic that has embroiled the Pittsburgh area over the last couple weeks. And I'm talking about parking chairs. We got that big snowstorm about 8 days ago, and we dumped about a foot of snow. And ever since then, basically what happens is somebody cleans out a spot in the city on the street, and they put a parking chair to reserve their spot. Then somebody moves that parking chair and just parks there, and then violence ensues. And even the mayor said respect the parking chair. So he said it's not law, but it's
common decency. I would say this: if you're having to park somewhere temporarily, just quickly, you're going to be in and out within 15, 20 minutes, and you need to park there, that's different. But if you're like, oh, I'm going to be here for the next 4 hours, common decency says, find somewhere else to park, because probably in front of someone's house. And being Pittsburgh, a lot of houses do not have off-street parking. So if you can't park in front of your house, there's nowhere else for you to park. Where I lived before I moved here, our house, no off-street parking. You had to park right in front of the house. And let's say I got out and went out and came back. If someone parked in that spot, especially with 10 inches of snow, I can't stop the car and shovel out a new spot for myself. Again, decency.
Counterpoint. That's not your spot.
No.
You don't have a spot. The spot belongs to the city. So yes, it's nice that you clear the spot, but you don't have ownership of that spot.
Oh, no, I understand that. Well, I will agree with you. I will also say as a counterpoint that when I lived in said house in the back alley, which years and years just they stopped taking care of, and it kind of got all bumpy and lumpy. There was a tree that was on official city property on a power line. I called the power company, said, hey, there's a tree, it could cause issues. They said, oh, even though it's on city property, you're responsible as the homeowner for anything within 5 feet of your property line, even if it's on city property. So it's your responsibility to take care of the tree.
Oh my God.
So if they're going to pull that on me, I'll pull the parking.
Yeah. Most people do not agree with me and agree with you and say, hey, and so what they do is they say, okay, did you just take my spot? I'm going to take a whole bunch of snow and dump it on your car. How do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Bury their cars.
Yeah. Now, when even the mayor says respect the parking spot, then, you got to respect the parking. You got to respect the parking chair. You got to respect the parking chair. So
I love how people have been getting creative. They put out a toilet. Somebody put out a 5-foot Jesus.
Yes.
With
the hand straight out. Like, not here.
Even had like a old peanut M&M like candy holder. It's great. You gotta love the creativity. But I grew up where we all basically had driveways and farm country. So when I moved to Pittsburgh with my wife, and we lived there for 17 years, that was a whole new concept to me. We got the chair out. I'm like, all right, what the chair? What chair?
Yeah. When I live in the suburbs. When I go in the city and I see a parking chair, I'm like, but I really want to park there. But yeah, if you and usually it's not. Oh, you took my parking chair or you moved my parking chair. I'm going to dump snow on you. It's, oh, I'm going to key your car. I'm going to flatten your tire.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some kind of violence to your car and possibly to you. So just respect the chair. But I mean, it is a crazy situation now with all the snow. It's hard to find parking downtown now. It's a crazy situation. And apparently the snow isn't going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, we got up to, it's 26 right now, like, oh, heat wave, but it's not going to get above freezing possibly the rest of this week, and who knows in the future. So
forget about this weekend, because this weekend we're going back into the deep chill again.
Yes.
With like down to like upper teens and lows in the single digits.
Yeah, enough of this heat wave, enough of this 26 degree weather. Real men dig out parking spots and run in 0 degree weather. Like
that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, on to the matter at hand. So the last time we talked, Mike McCarthy was just announced as coach, and then we were going to see how it was the day before the press conference. Now, when I put out a poll. I believe the day he got hired. Yeah, I believe it was either that Saturday or that Sunday. I just said, Steeler fans, are you happy with the Mike McCarthy hire? At the time, over a week ago, it was 70% no. I just did it a few hours ago, and now it's 83% yes. So did we all just come around? Did him crying at the press conference just make us all love him or something? Or, I mean, I know I changed my mind. I absolutely hated the hire, and now I'm okay with it. So did we all just change our minds?
Well, it's like you and I talked a little bit about this last week at the end of the show. You know, I think a lot of us were, again, hoping for that younger hire. I think that's what we were saying. You know, it's kind of like, it's kind of like Christmas, right? You ask for a certain brand name, and you're older Christmas, right? You're older, young teenager, maybe young adult. You come down, and maybe mom and dad got you what you wanted, but they got you a different brand. But you find out that, you know what, your mom and dad spent the money, and it doesn't work that bad. It actually works okay. And I think that we're seeing that. I think the interviews have been endearing. Joe Starkey wrote an incredible column because, and I knew this was going to happen as soon as Mike McCarthy said, we're going to start the parade at 1137 Greenfield Avenue. I'm like, well, that just, how many Yinzers are going to go to 1137 Greenfield Avenue?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they did, and because most of us know where that's at. So I think that always endears, Yinzers to somebody when they're from the area. And it's grown on a lot of people. But I think it's a little more than that, Joe. I think he's taken to really, he went right after the coaching. They've hired 10 new coaches in the last few weeks. They only retained like 2. I think that was our biggest screaming match. Dave, you mentioned it many times about Collins' coaching tree is pathetic. And he did not have a good, list of assistant coaches. And here's this guy who, when he was in Dallas, had 24, people on his staff. And he's already hired 10 new, and we're not even 2 weeks into it. So some of the changes people wanted to see are starting to happen. And I think that's endearing to him as well.
Yeah, I honestly, I think that's what's calming me down, is not just who he's hiring, because he's hiring people he worked with before. He's not hiring brand new, but they're younger people. Like the defensive coordinator, he's 47. So he's not hiring a bunch of other people in their 60s, late 50s and 60s. He's hiring, and what Patrick Graham did with the Raiders, who are basically Max Crosby and 10 guys named Joe, for lack of, that's the saying, but 10 faceless names who are good, sometimes NFL players, but probably wouldn't start many other teams. And that's a respectable defense. What can he do with talent? And then the offensive coordinator, they talk about the guy who used to be quarterback for him. Again, connections. But again, this is every industry. When someone comes in, and this is outside of sports, someone comes into an executive position and they start filling positions, it's people they used to work with. I've been in a place where a department head comes in and, okay, so they're the director of the department, but the manager for the department was the person they worked with at an earlier job because they're comfortable with them. They know what they're doing. And the other thing that makes me feel better is they're hiring more coaches. They're hiring not just a coordinator, but a passing, overall defensive specialist. Or the defensive backs coach is also the passing specialist for the entire defense. And everyone was yelling, and I was one of them before, Art Rooney's so cheap, he won't hire any additional coaches. It's like, okay, he's hiring additional coaches. Did McCarthy go for that much less than Tomlin? Or was this a Tomlin being a younger guy was still old school, stuck in his, I have these coaches, I don't need 30 coaches on each side of the ball. I'm good with 5. We were good for 5 in the past. I don't need any more. This is all, just something new and it's going to pass over type thing.
Yeah, we don't know. It's very possible. Rooney told Tomlin, "Hey, the budget for coaches is 18 million, and by the way, you're making 17 million, so you got to make $1 million work with whatever else you're going to hire." That could be it, because I'm sure Mike McCarthy is making a lot less than Tomlin did. So yeah, so now he has more money, or maybe that's just a philosophy Tomlin and McCarthy has a different one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see benefits to both. Sometimes when you have too many people, it's not good, but sometimes you need more people. So I don't care. But yeah, heck, even there's a chief of staff. What is this guy going to do? Is he going to have press conferences every day, like the White House?
Well,
is this?
And someone was putting that up, and someone said, look, you need someone you don't necessarily want the head coach to do administrative work.
Right.
So that your chief of staff is hey, we're having a practice at this time. So the chief of staff goes and makes sure everything behind the scenes is taken care of. You're like, okay, we're going to do this, and the chief of staff goes and says, okay, we need catering here, we need this here, we need it. I'm coordinating this here.
Well, the knock on that was McCarthy's suggestion, because of some stuff we touched on over the last couple of weeks. They have 12 picks coming up here in less than 90 days, and they have a pretty large spending account to go with the free agency. So they needed that guy to do that. And McCarthy said he didn't want that and suggested to do that. So that's what they brought in Steve Scarnacchia for, which is, guy can probably do that for him, and they need someone to do that. Again, with everything they have going on, and it sounds like breaking news before the show started, Joe. It sounds like Aaron Rodgers is going to give them his decision within a month. So
tomorrow?
No, within a month.
Oh, within a month. Okay, yeah.
A month. So that'll be well before the draft then.
Right. So
unlike last year.
I think that's something. Right. Yeah, we were saying last week. You can't go until May or April. So, that's probably part of his thing, too, to press upon him. Like, hey, we need you, Crapper, get off the pot on this, because we need to know what we want to do with our QB room. So that was Mike McCarthy's suggestion, and here we are. So now we have a chief of staff, which I think Mike Tomlin was a chief of staff for the last 19 years, or whatever it's been. And so I think it's a smart move, considering where the Steelers are right now in their complacency to, just not have that in the past and realize where they are with all of the opportunity they have going into the season next.
I just like it because it's different. That is, as a coach, Tomlin was great, but everything else he was terrible at. And one of the things he was terrible at was the coordinators just were not good enough.
Yeah.
He's done this for years. He had his buddy Keith Butler be the defensive coordinator for years. He had his buddy, what's his face, was the offensive coordinator for a while. I forget his name. It was always, it wasn't qualified people. It was just his buddies, people he liked to work with. And now these are actual like qualified people doing these jobs. So, people that complain, oh, this is just the same as Tomlin. It's like, okay, maybe, but also no. It's a whole bunch of different people. So, and it looks like a whole different philosophy. So this is good.
I think some of them have been very encouraging. Jahari Evans for the offensive line. I mean, I don't think he's going to get into Canton this time around, but he's probably going to end up in Canton soon enough. And, I like the mix of young versus old. Dave mentioned Patrick Graham, who's been around the block a couple times too. He's had some bad defenses in Miami, but then again, Miami's so poorly run. They're almost essentially the Pittsburgh Pirates of the, NFL. They're at least, if not, they're right up there. And he just had some terrible, players pulled away from him and given awful defenses to work with. No talent. But, so you bring in Patrick Graham, who's a respected defensive coordinator. Then you bring a guy like Jahari Evans, who, the Saints didn't want him to go. The Steelers, got Mike McCarthy went right in there and said, hey, look, we have not had great offensive line play. We've had okay offensive line play. I have a very young offensive line still. I need someone that can identify with them. And that's what he did in getting Jahari Evans. So a good hire there in my book.
I mean, for offensive line, left tackle's a big deal. But outside of left tackle, and maybe left guard, but I think we're good for left guard this year. But outside of left tackle, I think they're set for maybe a decade. Because everyone else are young kids.
Right.
So, I could see a offensive line coach said, okay, I can see these, everyone on the line, they're talented. You saw Sparks last year, and I can see where someone would want to come in and coach, where you see hope of improvement, even if you don't think they can win necessarily, but as a coach, you could say, okay, I can go in here, I see the talent, and trying to be, and I can improve them from here to here, and then that raises my stock also as a coach.
Well, yeah, Dave, that's a good point. The other thing it says about some of these guys is a lot of these guys are clamoring to come coach with McCarthy. So it's the other way around too, where they're saying, "Well, look, I want to play for this guy," or I'm sorry, I want to coach for this guy, because they had Chase Hazlitt in today. Another guy that the top of years still for the Saints don't want to part with, but he's bringing him in for the passing game coordinator and tight ends coach. And that's. I love it. I love seeing these younger guys wanting to come here to, have a chance to coach under Mike McCarthy. So they have to know something,
Yeah, but the other exciting thing about this is, or maybe not exciting for some, but Dave, you mentioned when there's a new person coming in, that they bring in their own people. They also have sometimes an entirely different opinion of the people that are there.
Yeah.
So we could be saying, oh, they love the offensive line is set. They love these tackles, blah, blah, blah. But they might come in and say, man, these guys suck. And one in particular I'm thinking about is Broderick Jones.
Yeah. I could see, I think Broderick is, especially since he's on his option year. I honestly, if you look at the rest of the line, I could see them getting a guard because Salamalu is getting up in age. Yeah. So you don't run into the situation where all of a sudden you have all your offensive line retire and there's no one left, and you're pulling people out of nowhere. But I think the rest of them are pretty solid. But I think Broderick Jones, I would be very nervous if I was him. Because honestly, they didn't do him right either. When they moved him from left to right back, and they said, "Oh, we can't move you left. We have to keep, Dan Moore left because even though he's not good on the left, he's horrible on the right." and keeping you out of position still better overall. But I'm sorry, if you get someone in the first round, you think, okay, we're going to put you on the left. We'll find out something to do on the right. You are a first round draft pick. We don't want to mess you up. And going from left to right to back, and that's no.
It was absolutely comical. That's like, well, we have to accommodate. Who was that schmuck that left
Dan Moore.
the Tennessee? Dan Moore. We have to accommodate Dan Moore. Dan Moore doesn't feel like switching sides, so we're going to destroy the development of our first round draft pick because Dan Moore isn't feeling it. Like he pulled the Hulk Hogan. I'm not feeling it, brother.
Yeah, and there's questions there too. We got a glimpse of Caleb Johnson this year, obviously, that messed up on special teams, killed him. But I said, I'll never forget that, Joe, when Caleb Johnson had that flip-flop. Almost you and I were thinking the same thing. We're like, Barry Foster.
Exactly.
Barry Foster did the same thing. And then what happens? Barry Foster comes in under Cowher and goes for 1,600 yards the next year and is almost, so they brought in Raymond Chin-Young, and Chin-Young is great at developing young running backs. So, now you'll kind of look at that as, well, maybe Caleb Johnson's going to get a little bit of a better look, or maybe whatever we didn't see out of a guy like Caleb Johnson, we're going to see out of him. So it's those kind of things that I think, it's true Steel fans that are tuned into what these coaches offer, what the staff offers, Joe, and how it can affect current roster players like a Caleb Johnson, is got to be, getting your hopes up a little bit. It's getting right up a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of parallels there because – yeah, Barry Foster had some monumental screw up under Chuck Noll, and then he never played again. And then as soon as he gets a different coach, he blossoms. So maybe that'll happen with Caleb Johnson. We'll see. I mean, and then also, when you go from when you're a rookie, it's a whole different. Now that he's been a year in the league, he knows a little bit better. So
you hope.
You hope. Yeah.
Now, Joe, I do have a question for you. As a Pitt guy, what do you think about Frank Cignetti? Did I get the name right? Yeah. Cignetti as an offensive assistant.
Wasn't that the dude that was at Pitt?
Yes,
he was at Pitt when McCarthy was.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So he was like many years ago down.
This is Junior. This is Junior.
Oh, it's Junior.
Oh,
this is Junior. Okay. This is the guy who was at Pitt. Let's see here. Yeah, he was
years ago. Wasn't he the offensive coordinator or something like that?
Like 2 years ago. Yeah, in like
he was absolutely 23. Horrible as offensive coordinator. So, so hopefully he doesn't have to do any offensive coordinator stuff because he was absolutely horrible. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say about any of these, assistants or whatever.
But no, when I saw he was listed, I saw a bunch of people on Reddit go crazy, like, oh my God, I remember he was at Pitt. Why are we bringing this guy in? He was horrible. He was miserable. He ruined Pitt's offense. He couldn't do anything. And now you're bringing, well, I don't understand.
Well, but that's the thing, Dave. In a way, what you're asking is bringing up the point that I think a lot of people are, maybe inspired by. Joe has it on the runner there. McCarthy had staff. So they added him. But they also had that Scott Tolson from the Saints in 2 days ago. They had the other guy in, and they're also at that same label, Dave, with offensive assistant or something. So it's like we don't know what in the hell all these guys are going to do. Yeah. We may have 4 offensive coordinators, going at one time, and that's where looking back when he was at Dallas and had 24 assistants, it's like, well, Joe, you're an offensive assistant. We didn't really say exactly of what. Dave, you're the other offensive assistant.
Right.
Darren, you're also an offensive assistant, and it's almost like hiding the ball under the cups.
Yeah.
What does he exactly do? Well, we're not sure yet, but he's obviously bringing in more than one. But Dave, I had a little bit of reservation on that one. That's a good call out. Just like with Capman a little bit. We'll see. But it's funny how they hired David Crossman today, so actually it was 11. Special teams coordinator. And then of course you see that, and then there's a bunch of Dolphins fans like, good luck, Pittsburgh, enjoy that loser. I mean, we had some, and then if you look into the fine too, some people say, well, he's an expert at getting runners and gunners. down the field. And when he was there, Dolphins did have, the best coverage by yards and all this crap. And so, I don't know. If you look at David Crossman's stats as a special teams guy for the last couple of years, not so good. But, we'll see what he does here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully Tolson becomes the offensive coordinator, although McCarthy is the one calling the plays. But they did get a defensive coordinator, and this is probably the second most important position, because if McCarthy is the offensive guy, he's going to be worried about the offense. Now I got to have somebody that handles the defense. Mm-hmm. So that guy becomes very important, because we know how Tomlin was. Tomlin was basically either the defensive coordinator or worked very closely with the defense and just let the offense do whatever the hell they want. So, well, actually, no, he was restricting them big time, but still. Yeah. So this is Patrick Graham from the Raiders, and it's interesting that the Raiders are a joke and they change coaches every year, but this guy was still the defensive coordinator throughout. Like, they kept changing head coaches and he was still the defensive coordinator. So that says something. So, he's known for doing a lot with a little. Well, now he's going to have a lot in theory. So we'll see how that goes.
Is he or isn't he not, Joe? I think that was something interesting, because I think there's some guys who got to go. But I'll let you throw the questions up. But I don't know. I'm still up about getting rid of TJ, but that may be another question. Okay, who's going? I think Patrick Queen's going to be gone. I would. With Patrick Queen being gone. Dave, you and I touched on this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, now I'd say this: especially at his salary, I think he's gone. His salary is way too high. If they could restructure and bring him down for a much lower salary, if they think he's worth it for like a half or third of the price, that could be different. But at how much he's taking out, no, you could as well. I mean, he's had very small hints of, that was a good play, but no, he needs, like I said, for the money, they can cut him. There's not going to be a lot of dead cap space. So So, but trading away TJ, that's especially on a new contract with all that money now, that's going to be tough. So that's going to be the hardest thing.
To give Dave some validity there, not that he doesn't need it for me, but the Steelers would only eat about $3.86 million dead cap space with Queen. And they'd actually save $13.33 million. So to me,
yeah.
So James Harrison already announced this. He said on his podcast, and this is even before McCarthy got hired. He said they already let Queen go. So
maybe
Patrick Queen's gone. So that's I mean, it was the last year of his deal, but still.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
and usually when something like that happens, especially Patrick Queen, who gets on social media a lot, he would, if it was not true, he would say, "Oh, well, he's being ridiculous." Of course, that's not true. No, he didn't say a damn thing, so that's probably true.
I'd be afraid to say anything to go to James Harrison. Right. I wouldn't give a fifth-year option to Broderick Jones. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I don't think they can afford to give him guarantee him $20 million.
No.
Repeat.
The problem is that he has that neck injury, and you never know with neck injuries. I mean, that could be a career killer. And by the way, Dylan Cook was awesome. So it's like we might have our tackle, and you draft one in a later round this year or something like that if you want to develop another tackle or something like that. So yeah, Broderick Jones. It just might not work out, but that's a fascinating thing. We don't know. There might be people that they're in love with. They might be in love with Broderick Jones. Who knows? I think another interesting one is what's his face, Jalen Ramsey. If he's going to be the safety, that's a lot of money to pay a safety. We already did that with Minka.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And hopefully they're going to be getting. I mean, they have 12 draft picks. So I'm hoping, and I would say this partially from what I heard from Chris Carter, because I don't want to steal information, but partially just to make sense. Two wide receivers in the draft, high up wide receivers. I don't know if you want to trade up because he was talking about trading up to 11 to get like one of the higher end ones. But, definitely two wide receivers in the first 3 rounds, at least. Maybe two in the first 2 if you can trade all your 12 picks. Get a safety high up. You have 12 picks, use them to build. You have holes. Yes, left tackle, you're not going to get a left tackle in the draft. I understand that. It's damn near impossible. But wide receivers, linebackers, even inside linebacker in terms of depth. Get that. Get your safety. Get your defensive back. Build up around you. And yes, you're not going to get a quarterback this year. And Yinzers may be disappointed. If they're there, I don't think they will be. At least the ones with any common sense.
No, I wouldn't go 5 rounds, Dave. I think that's a great point, Dave. I'd go 5 rounds before I even touch the QB because after Mendoza, and I'm not even sure, we could probably have a whole other segment. I'm not even sold that Mendoza is going to be a great NFL quarterback. He might be, he might not be, but after him, it's such a steep decline. Dave, I'm 100% with you on that one. I wouldn't touch a quarterback until round 6 if there's somebody floating out there. Good point.
So as of, I'm looking at a mock draft, and 2 of the top wide receivers are Denzel Boston of Washington and Carnell Tate of Ohio State. And this mock draft has them going 13 and 14. So if you want them, you're going to have to trade up.
Yeah.
In this mock draft, Ty Simpson, the quarterback, went at 16. So that he scares the crap out of me because I feel like that's Kenny Pickett 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're really that good, you'd be going top 5 because a lot of teams need a quarterback. So that's a little bit scary. In this, for some reason, this mock draft has the Steelers taking a cornerback at 21. Interesting. I mean, okay, sure.
I mean, if you want to have a possible shutdown across from Joey Porter Jr., I mean, but in terms of need, to me, the need is much lower than, if you want to say wide receiver 2 as a rookie or someone who could be another wide receiver 1 in a couple years.
Well,
top end talent.
They desperately need 2 wide receivers because I think McCarthy likes to work out of 3 wide receiver sets.
Yeah.
So you're drafting at least 1 or 2, and maybe you get one in free agency. I actually have a crush on Alec Pierce.
Oh.
He's only 26, and he's guys, he's perfect. I think I'm in love. He's 6'3", 211 pounds, and he's like basically everything you want. He's big. He does everything. He's big. He's fast. He makes comeback catches. He's just a great overall thing. I would love to grab him in free agency. And if we're not going to spend a lot of money on quarterback, and we have a lot of money to spend, hey, let's go for it.
Yeah, I don't see Aaron Rodgers saying, you got me for what did he come in for last year? I forget. Was it
10 million?
10 or 10 million? I don't see him saying, you know what? I want 30 this year.
He might.
But I given the fact that really the options for him right now are come back to the Steelers with the coach he knows, with the system he knows, it's a system he knows, with an offensive line, little familiarity, or go to the Vikings.
Right.
Go to the Vikings where you not only have to now, you're in a much better division with Green Bay and Detroit being, we were all shocked Detroit didn't make the playoffs.
Right. Well, I mean, if there was a team decimated by injury on defense.
Right.
They were decimated.
But I mean, there's no bad teams in NFC North. At least here you have the Browns you're playing.
Or the Bengals, or the Ravens. I mean, that's the thing with Joe. Joe and I made the point last week that, we need a losing season. What's damn hard when we play in the worst damn conference in the entire league? We got to play the Bengals and the Brownies and the and the Ravens are just. I think the Ravens are in the same position we are. They're rebuilding, and there's a rebuilding word. Let me hit on that real quick, dude, Joe. Last night, AMC, and I think part 2's tonight. They had a great documentary. It's called The Rise of the 49ers. And, so the Niners win it in 81. They beat the Bengals 26-21. Then they win their second. But then they started to struggle. And there's E.J. DeBartolo, who's a big fan, loved down here in Pittsburgh, saying, well, we had to figure, we talked to Bill Walsh, and we had to figure out, how to rebuild and reload. And that's what we're talking about tonight. I don't know why the Roonies will not focus on. We're talking about rebuilding and reloading. Every point I think a lot of us have made tonight, from Patrick Queen to Ramsey to whatever, that's part of what we're talking about right now. And these receivers, go get a free agency, trade these guys. That's why you're not going to get anything better than you are right now for TJ Watt. I know it's not the popular thing. I'm for trading him. I think you can get a return on investment for him. Dave, I think you're right. You take some of those 12 draft picks, you start throwing TJ Watt in there, a couple draft picks, all of a sudden we may be sitting with another draft pick in the first round come April.
It's not first round, higher second, because I'm hearing people saying right now, because TJ has not had the last couple of years, we're not at the high level, you're going to get a third round draft pick for him.
No. I'd take a second at the worst. I would take a second. No way. You're talking about a future Hall of Famer.
But also we're talking about a player who had below average for him last year, who's had injury issues, who's getting old, and depending on how much the Steelers are willing to swallow with that contract, if you're a new team, are you willing to say we're going to take this possible albatross of a contract, later on? I mean, the thing that the one trade, and this is Pirates, this isn't Steelers, was trading away Tony Pena for Andy Van Slyke, Mike Dunn, which no one remembers, but he was a good pitcher.
Yeah, we had one good year. Yeah.
Yep. And Mike LaValliere. You had your center fielder, you had your catcher of the future, and you traded away the most popular Pirate of the 80s. I mean, after Willie Stargell retired, it was Tony Pena.
When I was catcher, remember he would have one leg way out, sit down, he would have. That's how I would.
He had that
actually.
Weird
Jason
stance.
Thompson was my hero back then on those really bad mid 80s teams. But you trade one player and you start like the whole other revival. Yeah. So, and the thing is, it's the position you have the most depth at. Highsmith is good. Herbeck is about to leave if he doesn't get a contract. And Jack Sawyer's okay too. You don't need 4 good outside linebackers. It's a position of strength. So I don't want. I want TJ Watt to go. I thought he would decline. I didn't think he'd decline this damn quick.
And that's what number-wise, Dave, if I'm wrong, correct me, but I think June 1st, that's a $30 million hit with TJ Watt if they don't do something for him.
Yeah, I think I'm actually pulling up over. I'm doing over the cap. Yeah, he has a $32 million guaranteed.
Wow.
So if his dead, Now, if you cut him post, now this is cutting. So they're going to trade. He'll have $30 million. If you trade him pre-June 1st, it's $30 million of dead money. That still saves you $12 million in cap. But if you do him post, but that's going to be really tough. It's
the post June 1st thing where
that's you only have $10 million of dead cap, which is great. But again, most I can see most teams saying we'll take him as part of the draft.
Right.
But also, I'm not saying this would be a bad deal. If you could get him and you get, like I said, you go him and a couple or third rounds, and you get either very early in the second round or late in the first round type thing. depending on who's available to trade with. But could you imagine that announcement in person on day 2 of the draft? The Steelers have
in
traded
Pittsburgh.
away. Yes, that's what I'm saying. The Steelers have traded away this and TJ Watt.
Right.
Oh,
It would be
even if
that's
they
a bad PR
if they
hit
just
right
say
there.
they traded to the Steelers and the Steelers are on the clock, someone's going to look on their phone like, they traded away. What? I hope they have plastic bottles or paper cups because they don't fly well.
What they'll do is they'll leak something before that happens to make TJ Watt look bad. Like they'll say something like TJ Watt took somebody's parking spot when there was all that snow or something like that. Like they'll make him look bad. TJ Watt, I saw TJ Watt use Hunt's ketchup, people. I saw TJ Watt at Permani's and he doesn't get a sandwich with coleslaw on the fry. He puts the fries on the side. Ugh. Yeah, you're right. That would, I mean, that's a thing. That's, it's in Pittsburgh. This was supposed to be the big grand moment where we get our quarterback of the future, and that's probably not going to happen. So, you just can't say that. So, what would happen is it wouldn't be a draft day thing. It would be like the day before the draft or the week before the draft or something like that. It would not be. Yeah, they're not announcing that in Pittsburgh because that would just be a really bad PR hit.
Joe, and you want to see people set their hair on fire. I'm not so sure you're asking who's going. If Cam Hayward comes out and asks for not more money again, which I don't think is outside the realm of possibility. And it might not be
shocked.
I think he may ask for more money again. I mean, people are going to lose their ever-loving what over that one. But I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility either.
Yeah.
4 or 5 minutes more.
I don't know. As long as it's not bitter, as long as it's not just because I'm still not happy with the crap he pulled. Like, hey, buddy, you negotiated a bad contract. Go yell at your agent. Don't yell at us. And then don't scream and cry every 5 minutes about your contract. And then get mad when the fans get mad at you. Like that was talking about PR hits. My goodness,
not only that, it's even though he could come back and say, "Look, I'm not looking for more money in the contract. I'm looking for it to, more performance based, so I can have higher if I perform." That's great. You can say that, but you're still making tens of millions of dollars, and to say in this economy, where the average person is saying, hey, I remember when I could buy groceries and get out the door 3 years ago or even a year ago, and now I'm paying 30% more in groceries. My salary has not moved.
Exactly. He's acting like he's crying poor, and meanwhile his earnings were $131 million. Like, dude, we can't relate to that, bro. Give me $131 million and say you won't see me crying.
But
so I mean,
a guy, if he raises that and takes that ship up again, you can put that right on the who's going crawler too, Joe, because that would upset a lot of Yinzers, even though he played well.
Yeah.
He stayed very healthy this year.
Oh, yeah.
There's kind of like Dave's example earlier about or Joe's example about the linebackers earlier. There's a lot of, I feel really strong about our defensive line.
Yeah.
Black and
use another draft pick. Use another one of those late draft picks and add depth there. And because Wyatt Black was like a 4th or 5th round pick. So
so you got some tools there, and it's just that I look at that too, and I look at age. I'm sorry, but he stayed healthy this year. Could be a guy that could easily end up on the reserve list early again next year. I don't know.
But I'm just wondering if I'm Cam Hayward. Every year right now, he has to be thinking, do I want to go through this again? Do I want to go through all the training and all the hell for another season? Or do I just, at this point in his career, he's thinking that. Now, he was best friends with Tomlin. Now he's thinking, do I really want to start over with a new coach? he could look at it as, oh, it's a new opportunity, cool, or he could say, yeah, man, I'm done with this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Maybe he knows where Mike Tomlin is.
we talked about this offline, but what is it is weird that Tomlin has just disappeared. Like he was the big one of the biggest parts of this team for almost 20 years, and all he puts out is a little statement that he probably got the wording on Chat GPT or something like that, and he just put out a little statement and that's it. Like
I would say I wouldn't go that far, but honestly, I think Tomlin pulled a Chuck Noll.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he got on with his life's work. His life's work now is his family. How many times have we seen, I'm leaving to be with my family, and then 3 days later, they get hired someone else, right? Where have we seen, where are the only public pictures of Tomlin? What is
at his daughter's thing, yeah.
Yeah. So literally, I think it's a matter of, here's someone who, like you said, been coaching for 20 years. And this is professional athletes and other people, like he missed birthdays, he missed graduations, he missed, seeing them play sports when they were little, seeing them grow up. And at this point, they're young adults. They're not, they're in their 20s. They're not like 30, 40-year-olds. And he's like, I want to have my family. Because it sounds like, he's not someone, he loves everything you see. You don't hear anything bad about him and his family. And he's like, you know what? I've done this for 20 years. I have generational wealth. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Whether you 100% agree with it,
Bill Belichick's on the Hall of Fame. What are you talking about?
Boy.
You know what? Before we get in that can of worms. But, I could see, like, if we were in that situation, I know you're a head football coach in NFL, you think different from average person. But if you're in your late 40s and you're set for life financially, your kids are set for life financially, you don't have to worry about all the little stuff that we have to worry about. You can enjoy your family. You don't have to worry about, you're going to hear people bad mouthing you, but that's temporary. You have the Super Bowl, you have, the relax and enjoy life. Now, in 3 or 4 years, he may be like, okay, I'm bored. Let me do something. But Tomlin, Cowher, everyone was expecting Cowher. Oh, he's going to take a year off. He's going to coach the Browns. He's going to coach Carolina. He's doing a TV job.
Yeah, I think I said to Joe today, I think Mr. Rooney probably said to him, hey, do you want a presser to, retire, answer some questions? I think he said no immediately. And I think it'll be with Mike. It's always been a little bit odder. I think he's a hybrid of Chuck Noll and Mike Tomlin or Bill Cowher. I don't think he's going to coach again. I'll tell you that. I don't think he's done. But he is pragmatic enough to want to talk a little bit. And I think we might just get out of the blue like a Jerry Dulac, a Mark Cabali, a Bob Pompiani interview sometime like July 29th, or something crazy like that, or Pat McAfee or whatever. But I think there might be just a sit down in a room. Hey, here we go. And that will be, he's going to do it in his way and his time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're going to get. And I'm not saying that we deserve more or he should be there getting grilled. But it was a little surprising, just a little. But overall, I'm not shocked. And I think that's what you're going to get. You're going to get some random thing one morning. You're going to open up Twitter or X and be like, holy crap, he's talking to Dulac, at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center.
One of the insiders said, he told me back last summer, this is my last year. And that kind of might be true because like he quit the day after, the morning after the playoff game. Like immediately he's like, I quit.
Yeah.
Like,
Rondé Barber also said that. Rondé Barber said that him and Tomlin were tight. He coached Barber, and he said he knew.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, it's something that Noel said, and I 100% agree with. If you're thinking about retirement, you're retired.
Right.
yeah,
Right. If
You know,
you're if you're
if
not 100% into
yeah,
it, just quit. Yeah.
and that's any job. I mean,
Right.
I know someone who retired from my job, and she was there for 41 years, and I guarantee you that last year that she was working, she worked her ass off. I don't want to say she didn't, but she had in her mind, she had a countdown on her phone 3 years ago to her retirement date.
oh my goodness.
Okay. Well, I mean, like literally, you're at a company for it may have been longer, 42, 43 years at the same company. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to retire when I hit 63. Here's the countdown. I'm going to do. No, she was there 45 years because she started in high school. And she's like, you know what? Here's the day I'm going to retire. It's a countdown. And then you're thinking, okay, here's a new system coming up. Well, will it be installed by the time I retire? Probably not. So you know what? I don't have to worry about it.
Well, unfortunately, Mike Tomlin has not has only seen the start of Howard Mania. One of the big quotes from McCarthy in his first press conference said, "I'm real excited about Will Howard." So, it's to me it's comical. Hey, maybe he is good. Maybe he's the next Tom Brady. I don't know, but people are actually saying just let him play all 17 games. Screw Aaron Rodgers. Just let him play. Like, come on, guys.
But you know what though? I'll say this: as an incoming head coach, I would expect him to pump up the players he has. You know, even if he's not 100%, you give them the like, oh, I'm so excited to work with this new team, and this third string quarterback who's coming off a season-ending injury, who's never played, but I see good things in him. But I'm not saying it's not. He may actually think that, but you don't throw your players underneath the bus.
Nobody ever says I'm real excited about Mason Rudolph. Poor Mason. He's just
yeah.
Nobody said I'm real excited about Skylar Thompson. Come on.
Unless you're Terry Pagula, then you're gonna throw you're gonna go Bills Mafia. You're gonna throw that guy under the bus. Actually, Dave, I think that you got the cool picture up behind you of Hump and
Yeah.
And I think in that interview, Joe, I think he said it twice, or it was the second time he said it about being excited about Will Howard. And I mean, he did get to see a sample of him at Ohio State, and I do believe that Aaron Rodgers may have said to him, "Hey, this kid may have potential," So maybe that's where he's getting his information from. Because otherwise, I'm right there with Joe. Like, how do you know?
How would you know?
But I mean, again, the guy won a national championship, and he had a heck of a receiving core to do it with. So there is some film out there on him, but but
no NFL film. And as we all know, there's a huge difference between college, even high level college, and NFL.
Right.
And maybe he, like I said, he talked to people. I mean, I honestly, I don't know how much to take Ben Roethlisberger's opinion on football, just because Ben's been out of the league for a while now. And Ben was always the type of player that at least looking outward in, he relied on the fact he was bigger, stronger, faster than everyone else. And he didn't necessarily have to outthink you to win. If you were a linebacker trying to sack Ben, he could take it, push you off, run around, and then throw a ball in his younger years. He didn't have to study the defense and know this is going to happen. He did stand lock ball. So now you have Ben coming out. Oh, I really like Will Howard, and he's so happy Mike McCarthy got hired, and he's all in and he's happy. It's like like I said, not saying great player. Same thing with Bradshaw. Bradshaw also had two of the greatest one of the greatest wide receiver combos ever, but Bradshaw was like, oh, something's happened wrong. There's one. I got the arm. I'm going to throw it high. He'll catch it. He didn't have to know the game. He had the physical talent, and he had the teammates that could bail him out.
They say, Chuck Noll says you need to get on with your life work, and apparently your life's work involves starting a podcast, because between Ben, James Harrison,
Mm-hmm.
Cam Hayward already has one. He hasn't even retired yet. Trey Essex and Charlie Batch have a podcast. hey, get on our level, okay? We've been doing this for 8 years. Get on my level. No, yeah, it's. I mean, I take anything Ben says with a grain of salt, because he's trying to get views for his podcast, and hey, that's the thing. So, whatever. Well, it's not comical. It's just we don't know, and we just don't know about the guy. You can't make him the starter. I'm sorry, you can't. No. You're not allowed. You can't make him the starter. I mean, the only reason.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jeff.
It's probably going to be Aaron Rodgers, and we'll see what happens. And I mean, Mason, I think, is still here for another year, and then you make Will Howard the third quarterback, and we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll see some time this year. I mean, just let him play in the preseason. Just let him play every preseason snap. Get him all the reps he can get to make up for last year. We'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, I don't think even if Aaron Rodgers come back, I do not see him playing at all in the preseason. There's no reason to. Literally, they're outside of conditioning and having that first hit where you're like, okay, that's what it's been 6 months, 8 months, whatever. That's what it feels like. I'm okay. I can get up and move, But other than that, yeah, I mean, honestly, have Mason get ready, have Will Howard get ready, and have them play. I think that was the plan this year, before he got hurt.
I think that's where Will Howard mania kicks in right there. That's you want,
and especially if he starts going crazy against second and third stringers, which mostly he probably will. So yeah, and then like I said, then it's going to be going crazy. But I could see in the middle of the year, Aaron Rodgers had an amazing stretch of being healthy last year for as old of a quarterback. And as long as he's played, he missed a game and a half. That's it. Literally, that's it. So, that could happen again. It could happen where he misses 2 or 3 games. Who knows? But it's still, Mason goes in first because he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. And if he goes crazy, bad, he has the bad game, then you put Howard in and think, okay, here's your chance, kid.
Well, the funny thing, too, is Mason Rudolph going to be brought back? Because he's very much a product of the Mike Tomlin, feel safe with him. He probably is. But, it's not like they have 1,000 quarterbacks to spare. But it'd be interesting to see if Mason Rudolph didn't make the cut either. And they brought in more, somebody else. But,
well, I mean.
Not exactly like he was good last year.
No.
And he did have that one start.
Yeah, and that was bad. I mean, when he came in as backup, mid-game, he did good. But again, the thing is, who else? What other backups do you have out there that you can say, okay, we're going to get rid of Mason, we're going to bring in this backup quarterback from this team,
right,
or this guy who's we could just do the funniest thing ever. Let's admit it. The Steelers could do
Joe
the
Flacco.
Funniest thing ever. Flacco could do the Grand Slam.
Right.
Flacco could do
like all the AFC North Infinity Stones.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But I mean, honestly, if you look at these 30 plus, almost 40-year-old quarterbacks, they're not doing horrible coming in. Flacco did not do bad. He did not embarrass himself. The Bengals suck, especially on defense, but he didn't suck.
Let's bring back Ben. Hey, why not?
One of the Infinity Stones would put chairs in your parking spot. Or if you want to see Joe lose it, bring in Kyler Murray.
Oh, man. Please, God. Anybody but Kyler Murray.
Stand back.
I mean, the one thing you're hearing is Malik Willis.
Malik Willis is another. And that's what I'm saying, Dave. I mean,
But do you bring him? But would he accept being? Because if you bring him in and you bring Aaron Rodgers back, you're saying Malik, you're a backup.
You can't do that. You just can't do that.
Would he? I don't think, especially with the run he had at the end of the year, someone will give him a starting job, or at least a shot at a starting job.
Yeah, the Jets, and they'll ruin him like they ruined.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing. Somebody's going to overpay for him.
Yeah.
Like he's going to make like Josh Allen money or something like that, and it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. Remember, everybody's salary cap went up 30 million or something this year.
30 million, yeah.
So I mean, the Steelers have a lot of space, but now everybody has a lot of space because of this increase. So
not everyone.
Well,
not
yeah,
everyone.
No, there's some teams that are like in the negative or something. The Chiefs are.
There's a lot of teams. The Chiefs are 61 in the negative million. The Vikings are 45, and this is from over the cap. So, and don't forget our favorite team, the Browns. Deshaun Watson's cap number for this year is $80 million.
God bless them. Bless their little hearts.
You know what? Cleveland deserves it for getting a guy with his background. I'm sorry.
Wow. They are an absolute joke, and they're a clown show. And I mean, it's the same teams every year do the same clown crap. The Browns and the Jets do the same clown crap every year because they're run by absolute jokes. They're run by clowns, and so they do clown behavior, and they'll always be that way. I mean, look what the Browns did with their who wanted Todd Monken? What a dumb idea for a coach. Like, you could have got a whole bunch of people you get out now. That could be the case that nobody wanted to coach for the Browns. That could be possible.
A lot of them didn't. I mean, how many of those guys canceled their interviews with them, Joe? Yeah. I mean, that was at least 3 or 4 by my count that said, you know what, I'm not going to come in today.
Right, and they made him like fill out essays and all this other stupid crap. Like
they were going full corporate. They were going full. Oh, you want to be a VP at our corporate? You need to pass these 5 interviews. We need a personality test. We need this test. We need that test for a head coach.
It is brutal trying to get a job right now. I have a friend trying to get a job, and that's exactly the crap. It's like 5, 6, 7 rounds of interviews, and then you got to go run through all these hoops. It's absolutely insane. So yeah. The Browns is the Browns. So who is going to win the Super Bowl? Seahawks, right?
I've got Seattle.
Yeah, me too.
Everything yells Seattle at me, but it's the Patriots.
It's not your father's Patriots.
True, but it's still the Patriots.
Right.
Just like, let's say in 95 when it was Dallas versus the Steelers. Okay? It was not the same Cowboys versus the Steelers from the 70s. But still, people thought, wait a minute, why are these teams back again? Even though it was a decade and a half, and this time it's only been 6-7 years, it's still again. So, you know what? Vrabel's a good coach. Drake May is not top flight yet. He's a decent quarterback. I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
No.
It's not going to be a blowout. And we all know if you're within a touchdown and you're halfway through that fourth quarter, weird stuff happens. Someone throws a ball, it bounces off their hands and gets an interception.
I think it is going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a blowout.
You think Seattle's is going to destroy him?
Yeah. And I think...
Don't get me wrong. I want that.
I think
that's another reason why I don't think it's going to happen. I want it.
The Patriots encountered a whole bunch of 4-leaf clovers. They got so lucky all year. Anytime they faced anything hard, they ended up facing the easy thing. Like, we're about to face Bo Nix in the AFC Championship. Nope, we're gonna play this dude that hasn't played.
So they're the Kansas City Chiefs of last year.
Pretty much, yeah. And look what happened to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
in the Super Bowl, and that like their luck's gonna run out because Seattle is just they're just
Well, I'll
good
say
all
this.
around.
I have a friend who lives in Seattle. I know through wrestling, and the minute the Super Bowl was set, okay, I posted on her Facebook thing and said, "Don't F it up this time, Seattle."
Literally, I have a friend,
and she responded, "Don't put that evil out on me."
I said, I also have a friend in Seattle. I said, hey, good luck. And they said, we better run the damn ball this time. They're still not over that. Remember, they weren't over the Steelers.
Oh, they're
Super
still
Bowl.
not. They're still not.
We're not over
because they're
that.
complaining that the refs handed the Super Bowl to the Steelers. And no, they are still not over that damn. Here's the guy's name is Beast Mode. You might want to give him the ball.
I don't blame them. We're still not over Mendenhall, for God's sake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers would be shut out if it wasn't for Mendenhall handing the game to them.
Well, I would say this: Mendenhall handing, but remember, wasn't Ben's first pass a pick six?
Ben threw a pick six. Yeah.
Like early on. So if he doesn't throw that pick six and then have to lead from behind,
Right.
It's the same thing of, the kicker lost him the game. No. If you're a better team, you should not have to come down to a kicker hitting, a wild field goal.
When
like
you rely on the
Ravens.
kicker,
we lost because of the kicker.
Or when you rely on the refs or something like, this ref called decide the game. If it's that close, it's on you. It's on you that you let it be that close, and that's
as much as you want to say it was Neil O'Donnell's fault.
Oh, he threw the game. It was the Mafia in Buffalo. It was Bill's Mafia before there was a Bill's Mafia. That's the rumor I heard. It was a Mafia in Buffalo, and they got to him.
As long as not to open up a can of worms, as long as it's better than this past weekend's Royal Rumble, I'll be happy.
The men's Rumble. Now I will say this: the women's Rumble, I didn't hate. The women's Rumble was not bad. The men's Rumble.
You don't play a pay-per-view at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I don't care what's going on. I don't want to. Just for many reasons, it should not be in Saudi Arabia. But you do not run a pay-per-view, one of your biggest shows, at 2 p.m. on a weekend.
Here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing. It was 10. They started 10 p.m. at night Saudi time. It went till like 2 in the morning. It was 10 p.m. to 2 in the morning Saudi time.
So they were actually there our 2 p.m. is actually to accommodate
10
us.
Yeah. Because if they started it at a normal time, either it's 7 or 8, we would have a noon or 11 a.m. start to a pay-per-view.
And that would have been an 8 a.m. start on the West Coast.
Oh yeah. Which honestly, like I said, my friend Tina out in Seattle, she just has a brunch. When it's an early one, like they're in London. She just has a brunch for whatever pay-per-view.
I'm a fan of an English soccer team, Leeds United, and they play. There's a 5-hour difference between here and England, and sometimes they'll play like at noon their time, which is 5 a.m. our time. But there's a lot of West Coast fans. That's 4 a.m. on the West Coast that they have to watch a soccer game.
What did Goodell say today, guys? I think there's going to be 9 international games this year, including one in France.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see them going to one international game a week. Every year we have every week, and a year or two, 18 games.
I
definitely
don't see that at all. For a couple reasons. I'll just be a redneck and say, it should stay here. But if you're a Steelers season ticket holder, and you lose a home game like you did this year to Ireland or whatever, that's going to piss me off a little bit, especially because it's coming, and it's hard to believe it's coming. I guess we're all aging out. But, eventually we're going to be getting a new stadium too. And if they make the taxpayers pay that, and you're going to lose that, I'm going to lose an international game.
Here's the fun part.
You know damn well the Steelers are going to be one of the games.
Do you remember when they made Heinz Field and all those people from Three River Stadium had to pay a PSL, a seat license, which was thousands of dollars just for your seats.
Just for the
and then they would do that again for a new stadium.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, they'll do that again in a heart. But yeah, I just that to me, and I'm not trying to be political at all. I really am not. I don't even I hate politics. I just sit there as a season ticket holder, or even though I had some friends who went to Ireland, they said it was the greatest time. And I guess they permanently put a Steelers store there, right where they had the game, and it was like a 6-hour wait line to get into it. But it just, then you look as a taxpayer, and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
But I think Dave's right. I mean, I think you're going to see that where's our international game at this year? Almost like where
everyone's going to have one. It's all fun and games until whoever Will Howard blows out a knee in Paris.
Right.
Then let's see how popular those games are.
All fun and games until someone gets a blood clot in their leg because they were on a plane for 12 hours.
There you go.
Yeah, playing in the Tokyo Bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
why not?
But
Seriously.
But that's going to happen. Okay, yes, I'm sure the soccer pitches in Europe are beautiful.
They're better. The soccer pitches are better than Heinz Field.
Yeah, but it's a little bit different. But when they played in Brazil, either earlier this year or last season, Jordan Love almost blew out his knee. That almost ruined the Packers right there.
Yeah. It's horrible.
I prefer our players to blow out their knees on home turf.
Yeah.
Yeah, USA.
Right.
Just like Aaron Rodgers did 2 years ago.
That's right. Right. I mean,
right on the body of Jimmy Hoffa.
MetLife Stadium is kind of a third world country. I mean, it's not. It's sort of America, but but it is. It's gonna. They're all gonna play an international game.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be all over the place. It's gonna be okay, fine. But I remember there was they were gonna play in, I believe, Mexico City once, and then they had to cancel. It was a preseason game, and they had to cancel it because for some reason. But as popular as the Steelers are in Ireland, they're like 10 times more popular in Mexico.
Yeah,
they are like I'm shocked it hasn't happened yet. That there is, I mean, because of I'm not sure why, but I think there's like almost as many Mexican Steeler fans as there are fans like American Steelers fans. It is.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
It wouldn't shock me. But
so
how long? We were talking about the Rumble. How long till we get our first Saudi game?
Oh, I'm sure that's close.
How long do we get till our first team owned by the Saudis?
Right. I'm sure
I think there's rules against that, but maybe not. Or maybe the Saudis will just make their own league, like Live Golf. And they'll take TJ Watt from us or something like that, and go play.
That's what they did.
$1 million.
Yeah. I mean, after all, like Saudis were paying. I forget what was it. They're paying $1 billion a year to WWE for 2 events.
Yeah.
For 2, and the stadium that the Rumble was at was built in 3 weeks.
Yeah, the pockets are deep.
I would not set foot in that arena. I saw it's like, here, this is just a patch of dirt, and now it's going to be a stadium. Like, I don't want to go anywhere near that thing. You go in the upper deck of that thing, you're going to fall.
But I think they added France this year, so I think you're right. I think it's a matter of a year before we're playing in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
without question, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fun. It's fantastic.
Insert Ted DiBiase gif here.
Right.
Right.
$1 million belt. I got it right here, baby.
There we go.
It is dangerous. It has a lot of pointy metal things. But anyway, I'm surprised Virgil didn't get stabbed or something with that thing. But all right, guys, thank you so much. Let's hope for a good Super Bowl. But I hate to say it, I don't really like the Seahawks, but go Seahawks because I don't want the Patriots.
Agreed.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I don't want a good Super Bowl. I want the Seahawks to blow out the Patriots.
I just want good commercials.
Which we'll know in like 3 days anyway.
I gotta learn Spanish so I could hear the halftime show. You know,
Bad Bunny.
So, who is actually a good wrestler? I have a lot of respect for him because he is a good wrestler.
Oh yeah.
The times that that's all I know
he'll bring
from
out Damian Priest. He'll bring out Damian Priest at halftime and do a couple moves.
There you go. When they said Bad Bunny was going to host the thing, I'm like, the wrestler? Why do you have a wrestler at halftime? I didn't even know he was a singer. All right, guys. Hey, I'll see you.
Good night, guys.
Have a great week.
You too, Dave.